Hi, I'm Leanne Ely. I'm a nutritionist, a New York Times best-selling author, and some people even say I'm a life coach. I started the Daily Dish Show to share my story, my truth, and my journey to vibrancy, and to inspire others to do the same. Because it's all about grit, perseverance, and finding a way despite the odds. It's about embracing the whole woman, not just the parts that are easy to love, and feeding her heart, mind, body, and soul. But I found that this isn't just my story, it's your story too. It's go time. This is the Daily Dish. I'm glad you're here. Hi, Catherine. It's good to have you here. It's good to have all of you here. I am delighted that it's Tuesday and we get to start this wonderful week together. Isn't it fun? Anyway, if you were wondering, well, what happened to yesterday's webinar? We had a blackout. So here, I'm on my way home from pickleball, and we have we're in a gate guarded community kind of a thing, and so we're trying to get into the gate. Gate won't open. And they said you're going to have to go all the way around. So we had to drive 10 minutes out of our way and drive to the main gate. Drove to the main gate, got home, electricity's out. Well, about 3:45, the electricity finally comes back on, but the internet's not working. So we keep playing with the internet. I reset it. I take the cords out. I do all the things you're supposed to do with it. Didn't come back on last night until about 8:45. So we couldn't do it. And I couldn't even get a text message through. You know what it does is it says that send as a text message after it's tried to send it out. Well, that's what I was doing with Jenny yesterday. And so she'd send me something and it would take me forever to get back with her. It was just crazy. Anyway, that's what happened. And so tonight we're going to do it again. And I want to really encourage you. We had over 20 new guides go out in the last few days of people who are getting the Hot Melt Sprint guides. I don't blame them. I want the Hot Melt Sprint guide if I didn't have it. Hey there, Tanya. So listen, this is my deal. Come tonight. It's at 7 p.m. Eastern. You can get your seat. You have to do it because it's the only way Crowdcast will let you in. That's the platform we use at savingdinner.com/sprint webinar. Real easy, Sprint webinar, all one word. And I'm going to really dive deep into all of this. I'm going to share a little bit more than I normally share. Jackie, hi. And I feel like, and today with what we're talking about today and everything, boy, in today's show, this is one you want to take notes for. This is a needle mover show. Okay. This is stuff that I've studied. I want you to study. And it's the frosting on the cake. Okay. Jocelyn, hello. So anyway, with all that said, do be there for the Sprint webinar. Deal? Be there for the Sprint webinar. We are going to be getting into the Sprint next week after the holiday, and it's going to be everything, y'all. Isn't it next week after the holiday? Is that correct? Am I right about that? I don't know. But we start. Jenny knows dates. She'll put it out. But the point that I want to make is that this is how we restart, rethink, recalibrate. This is how we create new. Okay, July 8th. See, I knew Jenny would fix me. Jenny will fix me up. She always knows. But this is the way we make things happen, y'all. So really want to emphasize on being there. Be there, be there, be there. The other thing that I want to tell you about, especially for those of you who have ever taken any of my courses or my classes or my book club or whatever, and you like that kind of thing and that kind of teaching and what have you, I have this thing called the Master Pass. The Master Pass has about 83 hours of teaching on it. This is from when I launched the original Take Back Your Life. And I'll tell you, there's so much information there. Each class is an hour long. You could take notes with it. There's everything there. We're going to talk about nutrition. We're going to be talking about, restarting, recalibrating, and all of that. We're going to talk about motivation. We're going to be talking about all the things like we do here. And I think you're really going to like it. We've cut the price. It used to be 97. We've cut it to 47. Go to savingdinner.com/masterclass. And let me just say this. Once you buy your pass, you have it for life. You can go back, earmark the ones that you want, watch the ones that you want to see over and over again if you want to. But I did these back in 2020, 2019, 2020, and I'm still proud of this work. And I think it's going to be really helpful for you. So you will see a different background. We weren't in this house yet. You're going to see everything's different about it. However, and also 30 pounds or heavier on me, but so what? The information there is actionable, and I know you will like it. savingdinner.com/masterpass, all one word. Okay? You need to know about that. Also, I've got another thing for you. On July the 13th is our host on YouTube. No new account is necessary. Yes, there you go. It's a secret. It's secret though. It's a secret link. You will never, you won't, if you went over there and said, look for, such and such a course, you're not going to find this. These are secret only to people who have the links. So it's really helpful. There's no tech involved. You just click play and you'll get it. All right. Easy on your part and good on our part too. Doris, my goodness, what a nice surprise to see you. Nice to have you here. So get the Master Pass, savingdinner.com/masterpass. You will enjoy these classes. They're really good. If I do say so myself. And guess what I'm doing on Saturday, May 13th. What am I saying? That was my birthday. On Saturday, July 13th, we're doing a new, there'll probably end up being a series, but for right now, it's just one class. It's a morning workshop, and it's the full Bloom transformation class. It's going to be more of an overview. It's like 3 hours. It starts at 10 a.m. Eastern and goes to 1 p.m. Eastern. So you'll, have lunch on your own and whatever. It's not a full day, but it will give you the nuts and bolts of what it is that you need to start your own transformation. And I'm proud of this one too. Excited for it. We have a bunch of new people who are already coming. We're already started on it. It's savingdinner.com/bloom. savingdinner.com/bloom. You'll like this one. This will have handouts. It has all kinds of stuff. You just print them all out yourself. And you're going to want to be here. I'm going to do laser coaching. So, those hot seat things. And you just have to throw, a question in the queue, of course, and then I'll do your coaching. I bring you on screen. It's pretty cool. So that's what's happening. That's kind of our agenda for these next few weeks. Fun, right? Jen Sincero, who wrote You Are a Badass, by the way, great book. We only get to be in our bodies for a limited time. Why not celebrate the journey instead of writing it out? How good is that? How good is that? Oftentimes, we kind of just settle, and that's what we do. We just make this decision, that we're going to just settle, and that we're just like, oh, grin and bear it. Come on. Not on my watch. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. I had a woman today who I played pickleball with, and she was talking about her back pain and all this. And do you have any Advil? Blah, blah, blah. And I said, what exercises are you doing for your back? She wouldn't do any. So I got down there on the wooden platform, which is where we have all this seat. I'm going to show you how to do bird dog, because this is the proactive approach to not getting that kind of back pain, right? That's what I showed her. And that's my whole approach to everything is let's preempt what could be instead of trying to just settle, instead of trying to ride it out. Let's be in this place where we're celebrating because we're doing the right proactive things. We're going to talk about that today. We're going to talk about it today. And there's a man, golly, I don't know the name of his book, but Jenny will tell me, David Goggins. David Goggins, he has quite a story, and I heard about him a few years ago. I actually bought his book to read, and I didn't get through it. This is the first time you're ever going to hear me talk about. Hey, Linda, this is the first time you're ever going to hear me talk about somebody who I greatly admire, but I couldn't finish the book because the profanity was so profuse. And I get it. You know, he's being real. He's being himself. He's raw. He's unfiltered. He's this, that, and the other thing. Cool. But I'm going to take what he is about and I'm going to drill down the concepts because I cannot help but admire the man because he overcame so many things. So he grew up in poverty. He was always the fat kid. And then when he was an adult, he was obese. And he had learning disorders. He was subjected to racism and abuse at home, all kinds of things. Everything was against him. There's no way that kid was never going to make it, and he was back and forth between his parents. It was just a total mess. Turns out, he ends up getting into the Air Force and ends up getting into the Navy SEAL situation and became a Navy SEAL. He had to go through Hell Week 3 times because he just couldn't get through, but he finally did it. He lost 106 pounds and his diet was ridiculous, by the way. But what I'm going to bring you into is his world on how he made this all happen, because his process is so detailed and so granular and so good and so good. And I was thinking back to, like, for myself, I was thinking back to when I first heard about him, when I first started, reading his book and what have you, and how it profoundly helped me create a vision board. And I thought, I have to revisit these lessons because my vision boards have never been nearly as vibrant as this particular one. I'm going to show it to you. You've seen it before, but, and I'm going to explain why it was such a needle mover for me. And I want to give you that information because this is the stuff that makes things happen. This is the needle mover. There's our Autumn. Hello, Autumn. So one of the things that David Goggins did, he's known for this relentless determination, this resilience, this mental toughness that is unlike anyone else. He says that when you think that you're at 40%, you have less than 40% left to go. He said you have more than 40% left to put out and to go and to keep going. He's like that. Now, I don't advocate for that. I advocate for that mental toughness, however, and knowing that we are a lot stronger than we think we are. We easily give up. We weasel out quickly. I mean, I do. I know you do. We all do, right? We're just, that's not for me. That's what we do. Well, it's obviously not for me. But what I like about his visualization techniques, and that's what we're going to be talking about today, is that he imagines both the process and the outcome of achieving his goals. And he doesn't take any, he doesn't make it sweet and just full of fluff and pink, fluffy clouds. He doesn't just say, oh, it's just this and it's that and fluff, fluff, fluff. Here we go. And this is how we're going to achieve it. He's real about it. This is going to cost me. This is going to be painful. This is going to be hard, but this is what I'm going to do. This is how I'm going to overcome it. This is how we get into the weeds. We stay into the weeds until we're out of the weeds. That's his whole process. I heard him on a podcast not too long ago because he's like, he put himself after he finished his military career. Now he's on the motivational, speech circuit. And he also does these ultra marathons and he does things that are pushing the limits at all times because that's his whole deal. And I will tell you, I think we don't push ourselves enough, but I also know that we can overdo it. And I think women of a certain age, I just say this is just my preface to all of this. We need to be careful and we need to be wise and we need to know our bodies and feel all of it, right? Anyway, So let's just talk about this because I think it's so critical. It's so important, especially if you're frustrated, you feel stuck, you don't like where you are, you want something different, something more, something new. You want to challenge yourself. Well, let's do this. One of the things that David Goggins started doing, as he got older and has been through all this ultra marathon stuff and what have you, he's noticing that he just didn't have the flexibility he used to. He was tight, he was this, he was that. So somebody suggested, hey, you need to start doing some yoga and some stretching. And of course, David Goggins style, he didn't just go to YouTube and do a 10-minute stretch class. He's going at like an hour and a half stretch class. He said it changed his life. Think about this for a minute. When something like that has the ability to change one's life, and yet we are unwilling to take that kind of time and invest in ourselves with that kind of thing. Now, I'm not suggesting an hour and a half, but I would say, as I was preparing for this, that's what I did this morning. I was like, you know what? I had to go early to play pickleball, and I had an hour. So you know what I did? I did back and chest, weights, and I also did a bar class because I've been putting them off. And the bar and the stretching and all of that, I felt a million times better. And I thought, David Goggins, again, infiltrating into my life. So David Goggins, you can look up what his book is. It's on, I can't remember the name of it, but it's on Amazon. And do not get the Audible book because you'll just be cursing in your ears. And if you can stand, I wish they had a cleaned up version, but it is loaded with profanity. And, I'm not exactly, the queen of pristine here. A little something will slip out of my mouth every once in a while, but I just couldn't take it. So anyway, but I don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater. Let's talk about what, the takeaways from it. First of all, he has his visualization technique. So what does he do? He uses his visualization technique to mentally prepare for what's ahead. He uses this for his goals. He uses it for his ultra marathon events. He uses it for speaking engagements. He takes the time to sit there and think about, this is what it's going to look like when I start. This is what the audience is going to be about. This is what this is what's ahead of me. Or in the ultra marathon, this is what mile 28 is going to look like, or whatever it is that, when you're doing all of this. But what he does, he includes the obstacles, he includes the pain, he includes the effort required to get through that and get to the next side. All of it. And what this does is it allows him to confront reality head on. Because this is the thing that we do not do. We make light of what it's going to be about because this time it's going to be different, right? What I think we need to do instead, David Goggins style, is this time it's going to be different because I have a different motivation. And yes, those same obstacles are going to be there, but this is how I'm going to overcome them. This is what I'm going to do with them. Instead of what we've normally done, and this is the difference, is we act surprised. Oh my gosh, how is that here? Well, what is all of this about? And if we don't act surprised and know and expect that it's going to come, and there's going to be a day we don't want to wake up and go out and do the thing that we want to do, but it's going to prepare us for the inevitable of this stuff showing up and still having that mindset of, I'm not going to feel like it. I'm not going to want to do it. I'm still going to do it. I'm still going to go ahead of it. And why this is effective is because this kind of mental preparation, you know what this does? It reduces the shock and awe effect. It says, there it is. I knew it was going to come. I knew it was going to come, but not in that dreadful, oh, here it is. We don't go into Eeyore mode. We go into the mode of, there it is. It's okay. I'm going to run right through this thing. And so when it shows up, we just let it go. We just keep going right over the top of it, right? And then the other thing it does is it increases your confidence. You know why? Because you see yourself succeeding in your own mind. You do. As you see yourself succeeding in your own mind, you see yourself jumping over hopping over those obstacles and getting through with them. And you strengthen your belief in succeeding with your goals. That's pretty cool stuff. And you know what that also does? It enhances your focus. How often has your focus just gone away? And then you're going, oh, wait, yeah, that's right. I'm sprinting. I forgot. Well, we need to keep our goals clear and ever present in our mind, because when we are focused, we're motivated. And when we're motivated, we're doing something with it. And guess what? That action feeds that motivation, and we keep going. And guess what else this does? The fourth thing that it does is it emotionally regulates us. We are, instead of feeling like a failure, because this is it, there's going to be these emotional highs and emotional lows. And there's going to be times where you are defeated and you do mess up. But that doesn't mean you quit on yourself. You keep going, David Goggins style. So research supports this idea of visualization. It's our reticular activating system. This is the part of your brain that is like a radar seeking evidence to support the thing that you're seeing in your mind's eye. And it shows that this activates the same neural pathways as if you were really doing this. So today, playing pickleball, I'm playing with this really good player. And, you know, I've got the middle, and that's my forehand and what have you. And I had this idea of, she said to me, watch their middles. These guys like to go up and down the alleys, you know, on the sides of you. And so the middle, I was like, okay, let's see what happens. And I hit this perfect shot down the middle, and it just skid, and they both swung and missed. It was so great. But I visualized it ahead of time. I visualized exactly where I was going to place every single one of these shots. This technique is good for athletes, and it's good for us who are trying to reach and create and get through and achieve goals. That's what it's about. And it makes all the difference in the world, because you have a mental map of where you're going. So if you use David Goggins' visualization style, this is what he does. The first one is get very specific about your goal. You want to set your goal. You want to define your goal. And you, of course, you want to be extraordinarily clear and write it down, don't you? Yes. And then you want to support it with affirmations that support that goal. Now, that's my part. Because if you say, I want to be a 4.0 pickleball player, then you have to write that down. I am a 4.0 pickleball player, and I do this because attached to every goal is a set of to-dos. You got a to-do list. Well, what are you going to do to get there? Well, I'm going to drill. I'm going to take a lesson here and there. I'm going to play on a regular basis. I'm going to ask people who are better than me to play with me. I'm going to ask somebody to critique me. I'm going to do all the things that I need to do in order to get to that place. This is what we do when we visualize. And this is what we do. First of all, set the table for this visualization, and that's define the goal. And then you visualize, of course, the end result. See yourself winning that game. See yourself standing on the scale with the number that you want to see between your toes. See yourself saying no to the dessert buffet at, wherever it is that they have dessert buffets. See yourself. What does it look like? What does it feel like? How do you do it? Start all of this stuff. When you mentally rehearse, you get to start creating a new neural pathway. Yay. Also visualize the process. There's steps in between all of this. Include the challenges, the obstacles, include the victories, include what it feels like the whole time. The emotional response to all of this, huge, big, helpful. And then use your senses. When you make your visualization board, you're looking at it, you're saying, oh, I feel this, I feel that. This is what, ooh, that just does this to my heart or whatever. Oh, I can almost smell the ocean, if you've got something there. Those kind of things, get into it. Get into it. And then rehearse it on a regular basis. Set time aside to just get your visualization board. Here's mine, 2018. I did this after a whole thing with David Goggins on visualization. And see, right here, that's my lake house. and here I am, right? You've heard that story a million times. I'm not going to tell it again, but I'm just here to show you that everything here, when I placed this on this board, I woke up at 5 o'clock in the morning, got up, found the magazine stack and started cutting. And it's just like everything that I placed on that board said something to me and said something to my heart. And when I marinated on it and I meditated on it, it meant even more. And that's the whole key right there, because then you're rehearsing for something that hasn't yet happened, but your neural synapses don't know that. You get to create them and make them happen. And then you need to put some actionable steps to this whole thing, right? Set a daily schedule to do this. Do it in the morning, do it in the evening. It's really good before bed and just right when you wake up, because our subconscious is more what's the word I'm looking for? Willing to absorb, right? It's more like, okay, let's put this into the equation. We don't want to be running on automatic pilot, but what we want to be doing is putting into the automatic pilot equation that this is part of our reality. Do you hear me on this? Because now, as we do our automatic pilot stuff, we start to look for evidence that is going to support this dream. It's just that simple. And I also write things down. I get out my journal as I'm doing this. And what is the emotion that I'm feeling? Put it down. Write it down. Hi, Jane. And when you do that, something inside of you stirs. And you're connecting, not with just what your brain is feeling, thinking, etc., but what your heart is feeling as well. And that whole brain heart continuance, that's a thing. And that's when you just feel wholly present and fully into exactly what it is that you're trying to create in your life. This is where things get juicy and yummy. This is where you're creating your actual new reality. And then I always say, add in those affirmations, write those affirmations down, have all of this stuff go and flow with what it is that you're trying to do. And remember, there is scientific proof that shows you that visualization works, because the big thing is the neuroplasticity. You're creating neural pathways that do not yet exist, and your rehearsal is as good as it happening. Do you hear me? So remember the pianist that I've told you about a million times, the pianist, they had him all hooked up to this machine that showed what his brain was doing when he was playing the piano and when he was playing his desktop. They just monitored exactly. Your brain doesn't know the difference is the thing. Reality versus your make-believe mind, there's no difference in the brain. That's why it's so important that we do this. And did you know that your motor skills improve? Well, they find this with athletes. You get the balls you didn't think that you would get. You drop the shots. You do all the things that you want to because you're visualizing it before it even happens. It's a huge thing. I remember Tiger Woods used to say, I see the ball going into the hole before I hit it. And I remember watching him do a hole-in-one one time, and I was just like, that blew me away. Dude, really? You did that? Yes, he did. The other thing is, and the last thing I'm going to say is that you reduce your stress and anxiety about maybe the overwhelming notion of these goals when you have some visualization to go with it. And the reason why this is because now what you're doing, you're replacing that stress with excitement. This is what's possible. This is what I can do. This is what I can mentally rehearse. This is how I can get through those obstacles. This is how I know what to expect on what's coming. And your confidence just naturally boosts and you stay focused on your goals. And then you've got this thing looking at you. And it's a visual representation of everything that you're thinking about. But you can see the whole visualization process is exactly like what we talk about being, a fully bloomed woman. heart, mind, body, and soul. Everything's involved. And that's how I want you to feel about your goals, and how I want you to feel about your life, and how I want you to feel about your own vibrancy. So, look, if you weren't here at the beginning of the show, I made some big announcements of some really fun stuff that we're doing, including that Saturday morning workshop, which is coming up July 19th. I sure hope you'll be there. Savingdinner.com/bloom for the details for our Saturday morning workshop. Hey, Chris, I'm glad you're here. All the announcements, of course, are at savingdinner.com, /announcements. Thanks for showing up for me, and I hope to see you tonight. Sorry about I couldn't control the gods, the internet gods at all, but it's back and I'm here. Thanks so much again, Catherine. You are so welcome. I really appreciate you showing up. All right, take care all. Peace.